Joe Curtis, manager of the Better Homes and Gardens office in Danville.
Dennis Simpkin, manager of J. Rockcliffe in Danville.
I am a stranger to all of you. Emma
Yeah.
Walker, manager of Purple Danville.
Awesome.
Greg Monroe, manager of People and Property Sotheby's International Realty in Danville and Lafayette.
Jerry Statler, broker owner, Remax Record, for everywhere.
We want to lean into you guys. That's why people are here. We want to get more information on what the successes are of your agents and what you guys are doing. I think that will be beneficial to everybody. We're all in the same business. We're all networking. We're all doing business with each other. So these relationships are hugely important. Obviously, that's why we're here. So hopefully you guys will be able to help us out a little bit. So the first one we have is what's working today for your top agents, or your most productive agents, I should say. So I think we'll just kind of go down the line. All of you guys can kind of touch on this one, and some of these other ones you guys can lean into or not, however you wish. But I think that's a good, kind of a good opening one. Can you start off there?
Can you all hear me fine?
Yes.
Top agents, what's working? Everything. The agents that are doing well don't resist change. They embrace it. They lean on us from the leadership to help them understand what's happening. My job, of course, is to look into the future without the ability of a crystal ball and try to determine what's going on and feed that information back to them. The ones who, again, take it and run with it and do something with it. Information is abundant, but if you do nothing with it, then that's what you'll end up with at the end of the day. So that's what they do. They embrace change. They embrace the structure that makes change happen for them.
Fantastic.
I'd probably echo Jerry's sentiments. Basically, it's the same thing that he said, or similar to what he said, in decisions without actions are mere intentions. All the old school stuff we do, it's not rocket science. It's all about communication. It's all about meeting clients. I've always said that, we get paid by transacting. Our job is to have substantive conversations with people about their real estate needs and how you can uniquely help. That's it. The two pillars of success being lead generation and presentation. And so going back to door knocking, going back to farming, even the social media, it's just another form of communication. So that's what they're doing to be successful.
Let's see, I agree that resiliency is one of the most important traits that our sales associates have. But to quote somebody in this room, I would say one of the main contributors to success is rock solid prospecting all the time. And the other one is show up. Good.
Hi, everybody. Pleasure to be here. I wrote down 3 different things. Again, lead generation is really key. It seems like the people that are most successful have the most lead generation items. Also, teams, the complexity of the business we're in and what we're doing right now. People that start getting up in high numbers, I got to tell you, it's almost impossible to do alone. We're huge Tom Ferry followers in the company. Like it's almost a cult in our company. It's like they drink the Kool-Aid or something. And the people that I'm working with that are our top producers, in fact, I don't even like to single them out, but it's a commitment to success. Every one of them that's doing well is committed to change, or not be doing the same thing they're doing the rest of their life, but really excel and do a good job. Great goals.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been said, a lot of different ways, but it's really just not forgetting the basics, and the prospecting. and, you know, there's a lot of new things like technology, but we have to remember that high tech doesn't replace high touch. It should just create more high touch opportunities. So it's really just the open houses, meeting people, following up, working your sphere of influence. And, you know, that hasn't changed in the 35 years that I've been in the business. There's just different avenues to be able to do that.
Is there anything for you guys in particular where there's a few lead generation activities that they're doing that's yielding higher results than maybe other things? What do you guys see that's, is it still going out and doing, well, I'm going to get to that one in a bit, but you guys want, anybody can touch on that one, doesn't matter.
You know, internet leads are great, and we've managed to capture a considerable amount of those. But what troubles me is, in order to follow up on leads, I need to give that to an agent who's structured, who is consistent, who has a system, even when we supply that system, a great dashboard, in other words, that they use it. That's my biggest problem, guys. They don't do it. And hundreds of leads go away. And I think it's the entitlement of that if I talk to a client, that they'll buy something tomorrow. And that's not what's happening out there. Lead generation and success in this business go hand in hand, and it takes time to nurture those. So if you get leads, however you get them, through the internet, through relationships, and we do across the country, across the world for that matter, work them.
Working? Yeah.
It is a system, whatever it might be, whether it be the old files, whether you use your phone as a tickler. It's in the inquiries, as most of those notices that we get on the internet, you have to incubate them. As Jerry said, you need a system of incubation. It's about nurturing the relationship. It's about bringing a buyer and or a seller through the process, holding their hands, communicating. Each client's going to be different on whether or not they need more hand-holding, more nurturing and such. So you do need to have a system to handle and respond to leads fast, quickly, and just basically put customer service back into the business and build it in that relationship.
I think all that being said, the most successful agents know how to qualify leads, know how to check for motivation, and not allow people to waste their time. They really know how to find real buyers and sellers. And that's a quality that I think our community of realtors would do well to put more effort and education into.
Going down the line. All right. Well, I used to be a fisherman before I got into management. That actually is a joke, but it wasn't a good one. So how does that have to do with lead generation? If you have a fishing pole and you go out on a pier, you got a certain odds of catching a fish. If you take numbers of them, you have better odds. Take a net, take dynamite, all these things start increasing, the number of fish that you can catch. So I really tout, don't hang your hat on one thing. If you were to hang your hat on one thing, far and away the biggest lead generation thing that you all have that you abuse and you don't use right is your database. You got to work your database. You got to build your database. Tom Ferry at the summons that we just went to for 4 days in LA, the coaches that he has, did a survey on what their main lead generation thing was. It was database by 42%. So that's something you really got to work on. And all the rest of it, no matter what it is, if your kids are in school, getting involved in coaching or PTA, if your husband or wife is doing something, getting involved with them, you have to immerse yourself in the world around you and really get with it. Don't just be a participant, or be a participant. Don't just be an observer of what's going on.
Yeah, and they've all said it, and Jerry said 2 words: systems and consistency. You need to do systems, and you need to consistently work it. There's a great book, and I would advocate that you guys all purchase it. It's called The Slight Edge. And it talks about just doing little things, but doing them every single day. And it's very easy to do. When I sit down with my sons and we set up our goal for the year, and we look at it on a yearly basis, it would sit there and almost you'd fall over. But when you break it down to what you have to do every month, every week, and every day, they're just little tasks that you do every single day. And they're very easy to do, but because they're very easy to do, it's very easy not to do it. So, so get the book, and it will really change your career. The Slight Edge. Last name is Olson. You get the revised edition.
Awesome. Speaking of database, is there one system you guys favor? Yeah?
The one that works. Whatever you do, whatever works for you, just do it. That's the one you should do.
Keep it simple. This is not rocket science. Keep it very, very simple.
For old guys like Dennis and me, we started on the little 3x5
Talk
card.
about yourself.
Yeah. All right.
I'm glad you didn't include me there, Dennis.
All right. Since I'm younger than the guy sitting next to me, it's, you know, even if it's a 3x card, index card like we used to use years ago.
Little gray box.
You little gray box, and you just go through it every day. I mean, what Greg said, whatever works for you. But the one thing I will tell, after 35 years, there's so many ways to generate income, and you should have 3 or 4 different sources to go out there. But if 35 years ago someone said I could only do one thing, it would be work in my sphere of influence. Because working with people that already know you, like you, and trust you is the way. But all the other stuff, when you really think about it, internet marketing, social media, farming, what are you really doing? You're just out there fishing to add people to your sphere of influence. So everything should be focused on consistently working your sphere of influence.
Anybody else? No? So speaking of social media, that was one of the other questions. How is social media working still for you guys and or your agents?
You know, what was taught to me is you create a folder on your Facebook. You go through your sphere of influence, add everyone in your sphere of influence into that folder. Then next time you go into Facebook, just open that folder. So everything that you're basically seeing is feedback and chatter from your sphere of influence. So if someone says, hey, we just found out that we're pregnant, we're going to have a baby in 8 months, wow, hey, congratulations. Now, you don't sit there and go, hey, you need a bigger house. But what you do then is, you drop them a little note saying, hey, congratulations, great to hear it. And you just basically work your sphere of influence through Facebook. But what you do is just put your sphere of influence in a separate folder. Then when you open that folder, the only chatter that you're seeing is not from your high school pal that lives 3,000 miles away. It's your local clients. And just spend a half hour while you're watching TV just, dropping leads into Facebook. And that's been the #1 social media tool that I've learned.
Cool. Good advice.
I've heard it said this way too, that social media, some of them more professional, like LinkedIn, but places like Facebook and such, it's like you're invited to the world's biggest cocktail party, and you have to temper what you do. Would you bring flyers to a cocktail party? Anybody? If you do.